May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Based on the American Horticultural Therapy Association, having plants in your home and working with plants can be very therapeutic. It not only relieves stress, but it helps you through the grieving process. Now, I'm not a medical professional, and this is not in lieu of any medical advice you've been given, but I can tell you based on my own experience that plants have been a very big part of my wellness practice. So for those of you that don't have plants in your home or don't have blooming plants in your home, I wanted to share with you some of the buds and blooms that I have going on. So sit back and relax, and we can take up 20 minutes of your time to just show some blooms and some updates. All right, let's get into it. Happy Saturday. Yes, it is true. She is blooming. Look at her. So this is my propagation, you guys. I wanted to show you this is the mother leaf down here, the big one, and she's still viable. Look at that. Can you hear that? That means she's still viable. She's still kicking it. She's still doing her thing, and she is blooming. I want to show you the mother plant for this because you will see that the flowers the color on the flowers are a little different, but I love this. I want to say this is called a single, where they just have a single set of petals. The doubles have double rows of petals. This one just has a single row of petals, but she is pretty. I don't think I have any doubles right now. I think I've had some in the past. They sort of kind of remind you of like a carnation in a sense, where it's just a lot of different ruffles of the petals, but she is so pretty. And I'm not even really into purple that much, but I'm loving her. So I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I also kind of wanted to talk to you guys about some of the things that I'm doing with my blooming plants to get them where they need to be. Spoiler alert. The plants that I'm showing today are African violets and Hoyas. Those are the only kinds of flowering plants that are flowering like this that I have in my collection. So I wanted to share a couple of tips or things that I'm doing that maybe if you're not doing the same thing, you could try to see if you can get your plant to flower. With my African violets, light. Now, to be fair, I have some in sunlight and some under grow lights, and they both get good light. I think the one thing that I think is really bringing it home is that plants need rest too. So having lights on 24 hours a day hasn't worked for me. So I found last year, I want to say, I turned my grow lights down some, and of course the ones that are sitting in sunlight, when it gets dark, it gets dark, and I honestly don't keep a light on in that room. So when the lights go out, when it gets dark outside, it's dark, and so they get a full on rest, and I think that's really important. All right, let's get to plant number 2. Okay, you guys have seen this beauty before. This is my numeraloides. This is her first year blooming, and this is her third time this year that she's bloomed, and she's got a double coming. Look at that, 2 right on the same. It's not the same peduncle because it's 2 different peduncles, but geez Louise, on the same stem. Look at that. She still has her other peduncles here, and they look like they might want to, but no, I do see a little greening up on here, right? So we might even have some more there. And of course she has this little one down here. So she's blooming too. I think they smell amazing. Oh yeah, it smells like floral, right? It's sort of like a musky, powdery type scent, but it just smells floral to me. Oh, she's got a peduncle up here too, and it looks like some leaf growth. I was just about to say that she hasn't been pushing out any new leaves, which, you know, kind of concerns me a little bit, right? Anyway, I think she's doing well, right? So she's another one that's blooming. I love this one. She has a yellowing leaf, but I love this one because of the tactile on her leaves, right? I love that about her. So this is my numeraloides. Now, as far as this one is concerned, when I think about any, you know, to be fair, what surprised me about this plant is that she needed more water than I gave her credit. I read into the Hoyas don't need a lot of water. And I will say this much, Hoyas will tolerate you not watering them, but when you water them regularly and enough, they will grow and give you flowers. So the more my Hoyas flower, the more water I give them and the more they bloom. So I think watering Hoya is one of those key things that helps bring it all together and bring that sort of, get them to flower more often. Okay, let me see if I can clear up some confusion. When Hoyas are blooming, I believe that they utilize more water, so they need to be checked before you actually water them. They would need to be watered more often than normal when they're blooming, but still check them before you actually water. All right, hopefully that cleared up some confusion. Let's get back to the regularly scheduled program. Hoya numeraloides. She's cute. Look at that. Okay, you know this bad boy is always flowering. This is my Hoya Croniana Silver, and she has so many peduncles. It is ridiculous. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. Right now, she only has one bloom, and I kind of been calling this my bedhead bloom because she's laying on the shelf, the bloom itself. So she hasn't formed like that pretty little round cup like the other ones have, only because she's been kind of laying down. She got bedhead. But other than that, she's been doing pretty good. She's been, oh Lord, oh no, here go another one. I thought she was going to stop blooming the last time, but apparently, here's another one. Apparently, I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to her blooming. I have not had this plant. I haven't had this plant a full year, have I? I don't think I've had this plant a full year. So when I first got her, she was already pretty full. She has grown quite a lot since she's been here, but she hadn't flowered, and I didn't see any peduncles, I don't think. But she's been doing really, really well. Like I said, the more they bloom, the more I water and the more they bloom. I have had Hoyas now for 2-3 years, maybe even 4. And I really did believe the hype that they don't need a lot of water. So I was not watering them. I cannot say that enough. But the more that these bad boys have bloomed and the more that I've watered them, the more they keep blooming and growing. You see, she's got babies all over the place. She's got baby leaves all over the place and new peduncles all over the place. So, oh, there's another. Did I see this one already? There's another. Hold on. I missed a whole flower. Look at that. It's 2 of them. Child. She is living her best life, okay? Croniana Silver. Look at her. So this is the mother plant. Whoa, don't do that. This is the mother plant and this is the baby. This is the propagation. Now, when I first got her, she pushed out purple leaves with a white border just like this. And this is probably her 2nd or 3rd bloom, and they just keep getting whiter and whiter. I think it has a lot to do with, so both of these have had the same nutrient solution given to them. The only difference between the two is the light. I will say this though, I want to wait until this one flowers again before I believe that it's anything other than just maturity. Because like I said, the first flower that I received when I purchased this, it had purple flowers. And I assumed that it was going to be purple. And then she turned white and I was like, whoa, I instantly thought it was the fertilizer because of course, that was one of the things that changed. But then when she flowered, of course, she was purple and I was like, okay, now I'm confused. So we'll see. But getting back into this beauty, She has two heads. So she has the big crown right here, and then she has a plant growing. Oh, where is it? She has a plant growing right here. So here's another crown growing on her, and this is one of the flowers from that crown. And as you see, she's white, or white with purple. So I'm kind of thoroughly confused. It just could be a maturity thing, right? They start off purple and then they turn the more white. And if you look, even if you look at the petals are giving me a difference. Look at this one. See, that's got double rows of petals, and this one has a single. So it's a little, I wonder if it's some sort of hybrid. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what's going on, whether that's a normal thing or not. Either way, I love it. I think it's beautiful. She's got a couple of older flowers in here that I probably could pick off. But I won't do it on camera. She's got some buds. But this thing is beautiful. Okay, so one other tip when it comes to especially African violets, but it doesn't hurt for any of the ones that I'm talking. Well, okay, let there be light. The other tip is to bottom water. Now, these are in self-watering pots, but even if I were not to have this in a self-watering pot, which I don't recommend, not for me anyway, like I would forget, and just 1 or 2 days of forgetting is enough to throw the cycle off. And so keeping it in a self-watering pot has been a saving grace for me. But which means that I am bottom watering this plant all the time. I am never pouring water directly on the top of this plant. And you may be saying, like I did the first time I heard that, well, it's a plant. It lives outside. It grows outside. It's from outside. Why would it not like water? It's not that it doesn't like water. It just does not like water sitting on its leaves. So if you were to get it wet or water it, then you just need to make sure that there's enough air circulation so it dries in enough time that it doesn't disrupt the leaves. The leaves just don't like the water. Now, let me just say this much. The leaf is not going to kill the plant, but it will make your leaves look ugly, and you don't like. It's like aesthetically pleasing, right? It's not going to kill the plant, but it's just not cute. So, yeah, this is my bigger African violet. Okay, stop it. They so sweet. And I'm loving it. I am. I have another one that is pink, and she's doing the same thing. The more white is showing up and the pink is kind of reducing itself to the middle. But she's not flowering right now. I just picked off the last dead leaf, and I'm thinking, not dead leaf, but dead flower, and I think she's going to probably be pushing out more buds sometime soon. But this is, and I literally just watered this, and it feels like, no, she's got just a little bit of water down there though. Look at that. See that little bit of water? Literally Friday I put water in this. So I don't know. She's a thirsty. Once again, water them. When they are flowering, water them. Okay, we got one more. Look, it's my Crinkle 8. And both of these are pushing out a bloom. Like, okay, so the peduncles are pushing out possible blooms. And I'm going to tell you exactly. I know for sure this has to do with watering. Can you see that? Is that like, look at that. Oh, I love it. This definitely has something to do with watering. So when I cut up my Australis, it freed me to pay more attention to this plant. It even freed me to be able to get to it much easier. And I started getting to this plant a little bit easier and watering it more often, and boom, here she comes. And I think both of these are going to bloom. Now, she is another one that has bloomed already at least once already this season. So I'm not surprised that she's blooming, but I'm happy. I'm still happy. I'm not surprised though, because she's already bloomed several times already this season. As far as tips, I will say everything that applied to what I've said already has applied to this one too. I will say, when it comes to soil, now African violet soil is a little bit different than what I use for my Hoyas. I wouldn't plant those two things in the same kind of soil. African violets, I like something that holds moisture. Like I usually use something like vermiculite, some perlite. I did use peat this year. The propagation is some mixture of cocoa coir, perlite, and vermiculite. But in the past, I've used peat, perlite, and vermiculite. And so much so where it is very draining. Like you put the water through and it just goes right through, right? With Hoyas, a lot of this actually is still potted in the same soil it came in. I think what I did with this one was I just added some soil to it so that it would fit in a bigger pot, which I need to repot again, I believe. Yeah, I'm gonna probably repot this again this year, and actually remove some of this old soil off of it and maybe give it some new soil. I would probably pot this in something like I would pot an aeroid in, right? Something that is well draining, cocoa coir, charcoal, pumice, maybe the cocoa coir chunks and the pith, and if you have perlite, the chunky perlite, that would work too. So I find that, I wouldn't say it's not fussy, but it needs to be something that's a well-draining soil. And I know everybody says that, well-draining soil, but it needs to be something that if I pour water into it, it's not going to hold on for water for 2-3 weeks at a time. It needs to be able to get there, stay there long enough to water the roots, and then dissipate within a couple 5-6 days, so that it has time to breathe, the roots have time to breathe, but still be near moisture. So once again, this will be blooming soon. I will come back with pictures of the blooms. If they bloom before I put this video up, I will put pictures of the bloom up. If not, it'll probably be in my community post. All right, well, that's all I have for today, you guys. I just wanted to show you what my bloomers were. My planties and bloomers. If you like this video, give this video a like. And if you like this video, you would definitely love our community. Our community is absolutely amazing. And if you don't believe me, check out my last video where I received some community plant mail. Heart is still beating. In fact, that video I literally just filmed a couple of days ago, but I have a little bit of an update. And it might be a little hard to see, but there is some root. Please tell me you can see that. Don't do She's like, don't be showing them my roots. I don't like that. There it is. You see it? You see that root? That's the globulosa. And this one, the sigillatus already has some roots coming out of there too. She's just being a little shy right now. You can barely see them, but they are there. I told you, I knew it. This was not going to take long to root. It just so happens that the way the leaves are set up, they're not allowing the tendrils to get too far in the water, but it doesn't matter. All Hoyas need to do is smell the water, and they're gonna push out some roots. So we have some progression already. I'm super excited. So like I said, if you are not a part of this community, hit that subscribe button, join the community. And if you want an even better connection, look in the description. There's a link to some DIY bug spray. It is also gets you That link also gets you on our newsletter, so you will receive my newsletter. It comes out about quarterly, but trust and believe you get more than that. So if no one else has said it to you today, have a great day. Bye.